Good morning, everyone. Um, Hello and welcome, everyone. It is fantastic to have each one of you here today for this exciting webinar. My name is Kovida Mehta, and I will be your host for the day. Whether you're just starting your journey to university or aiming for the pinnacle of global institutions, you've come at the right place. Let me introduce you to Allen Global, where dreams of top-tier universities aren't just nurtured, they're realized. Over the years, we've helped students secure a staggering 1,650 plus admission offers from the world's most prestigious universities. Now, picture this: students landing spots at the likes of MIT, Oxford, Imperial College, the University of Toronto, and many more. We're talking serious success here. But it's not just about getting in, it's also about excelling. More than 273 students are now in the top 50 global universities, and an incredible 93% of our students have secured places in the top 200 universities worldwide. Oh, and did I mention scholarships? Our students have bagged over $22 million in scholarships, easing the way to their academic dreams. And when it comes to test prep, Allen Global is all about the numbers that count. Multiple perfect SAT scores, 72 AP stars, and countless success stories. Plus, our visa success rate speaks for itself. 93% for the USA, 100% for the UK, Canada, and Singapore. We make the path to your dream universities smooth and exciting. So whether you're aiming for a world-class university or looking to ace your exams, Allen Global is your perfect partner on this journey. We are here to turn aspirations into achievements, and we can't wait to see what you accomplish next. I would now like to hand over the stage to the man of the hour, Mr. Sachin Srivastava. Sachin sir is a study abroad expert, certified international career counselor, and a corporate trainer as well. Being the head of academics at Allen Global, Sir has been nurturing the young minds and navigating their paths to global education at the top tier universities since last 7 years here at Allen Global, and many more years beyond Allen Global. Please join me in formally welcoming Sachin sir, who will help us understand how to meticulously design a substantial essay that would speak volumes for itself. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kovida. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. And I'm sure that most of you have selected your universities and started your journey. You must have started working on your essays, and I'm sure that some of you might be in the position or say at the final stage. So as we understand that when it comes to these top universities, they would like to see your profile, they would like to see your academics, they would like to see your standardized test scores. At the same time, they would like to see the presentation of all these things in the form of essays. So essays or your SOPs or your letter of recommendations, they are the most crucial thing of this time, of this hour. Let's begin without much ado. Let me share my screen with you. So we'll be discussing these three things. First, essays. So mostly we'll be discussing about Common App. I want deep dive into university essays because each of the universities, they have their specific requirements and there are specific type of essays. But still, here we are to discuss like how to write effective essay. So probably we'll cover that particular part here. The next is the statement of purpose or letter of intent. So some of the university or say in some of the countries, it is known as letter of intent, and in UK especially it's known as statement of purpose, and then letter of recommendation. So when we talk about letter of recommendation, you do not have much control, but still you have ways to get a good letter of recommendation. So let's move forward. There are the topics of Common App essays that you must have gone through. So I'll briefly touch upon them. Say first one is about identity or the background. So if you feel that you have something substantial that you would like to share, and you believe that really is going to create a difference, then only you should write on this particular topic. See, background or identity could be, it could be, say, your cultural background, it could be your family background. Say you are from a business family and you'd like to go into a management field, probably this could be your prompt. The other one is the lesson we have taken from obstacles. So you find that there was something very significant, or some challenge was very significant that you really overcome, and you learn. It has given you a new perspective of life. In that particular case, second could be your option. Then the next one is when you challenge a belief or an idea. So it's not about discussion, rather doing something on the ground. So if you have challenged any sort of belief and you worked on the ground, you work towards changing that belief, then you can go for the third one. Fourth one is reflect on something that someone has done for you. It's about gratitude. So like how that gratitude affected your life, right? Next one is accomplishment. Again, it's about the turning points. So any achievement, any accomplishment that became a milestone, then this should be your essay. And sixth one is something interesting for you, something like a passion for you. And the last one is probably the most intriguing one. It's seventh is basically it's a white canvas. So you can have your own essay, you can have your own thought process, but you need to be careful about this. So if suppose you do not have any clear idea, you shouldn't go with seventh one. Well, now you know about these seven prompts. Probably some of you might be struggling with an idea like how to select one of these seven prompts, and that's really an uphill task. Because sometimes what happens that we have idea about 2 or 3 topics, and we believe that all of them are fine, or all of them are at the same level. Even sometimes it happens that we write like we think about each of these prompts and still we do not get proper idea. So here is a process that we follow at AGSE. I'm going to share with you. The very first thing is what you should do. Probably you should write at least 2 ideas on each of the prompts. So talking about all the 7 prompts, take 2 ideas on each of the prompts. In that particular way, you'll have 14 ideas. Write about these 14 ideas, say 2 to 4 lines, or say half a paragraph. And after writing this, what you can do, probably, you just analyze it by yourself, and you can discuss with your parents, you can discuss with your friends, you can discuss with your mentors or teachers, and they'll start giving you feedback. So this is the second part that you should go through. The next one is, after getting the feedback from the people around you or your own analysis, select 1 to 3 topics, and I would say at least 2 to 3. So select at least 2 to 3 topics to expand on, and expand them completely up to say 1,000 words, not 850 words. Expand them to 1,000 words. Once you expand them, probably you'll get a clear idea which essay is coming up properly, right? Again, you can go for the feedback. Again, you can discuss with these the same people you have faith on, or you discussed with. Now, after doing this, now you can finalize one. So out of these 3 essays or 2 essays, after discussion with the people, you'll have ample idea, and you'll be able to reach to a final one, and probably you'll be able to select one. Once you select it, write on it, proofread, and finalize. This is basically the process that you should follow. And when you follow this process, probably it will help you to reach to the best possible essay that you can write. Most of the students, what do? They write on just single idea. So at the initial stage, they somehow eliminate some of the very potential essay prompts. And what I believe that you shouldn't do it at initial stage. Rather, go through this process and just help you reach to the best possible essay. Now, here are do's and don'ts. And this is the most, important slide of this presentation. So listen to this carefully. The very first point is don't use AI to generate responses. Now you would say, you know about this. And the other thing is there's no, program or no software in the world which can detect certainly that a particular thing is written by AI or it is human written. And that's right, absolutely right. See, but when you use AI, it uses that mundane language and that ruins your entire essay and the chances of redaction. So this is strictly no. Do not use AI generated responses. They are surely going to ruin your entire essay, your entire application. So don't try to oversmart, universities. They are smart enough. They understand like what essays or what responses are generated from AI. Next one is don't use or follow any template. Now, again, this is the biggest trap. When you Google, you'd find a lot of templates available. You'd find a lot of essays, from the successful students. But the catch is here. If you follow any of these templates, that you are moving in the wrong direction. And the reason, universities would like to see the unique essays and the unique profiles. When you follow others, you are surely moving on the wrong track. So originality is the key. And, there's no specific way of writing essays. There's no specific way. We have seen it in our, 7 years of experience that universities are not expecting you to write essay in a specific way. Had they been, they must have released some templates. So they are not expecting any sort of templates. They're not expecting any particular way of writing. So whatever your style of writing, use that. Don't copy previous idea or writings. Like some of us try to search for the ideas, in old essays on Google or say using AI. But when you try to do that, again, you are moving on the wrong track. One more important thing, don't get essays written by others. You would say it's quite obvious, but like some of us go to consultants, we get them written professionally. These are the best written essays, and you'll be surprised to know that some of the best written essays, in fact, most of the best written essays by professionals are rejected. You know why? Because universities would like to see essays written by the students, not by the professionals. So when a particular essay is written by professionals, they tend to write them in their own way, in their own mature way. Whereas a student at a particular age has a particular kind of thinking, and universities understand that. So the moment you get it written by others, it's going to be rejected. Though you can get some suggestions, some ideas, some help from the people around you, but getting essays written by someone is really highly detrimental. So do not think of getting your essays written by others. Don't put fake information. Obvious, do not try to put anything that you haven't done or any situation or circumstance that you haven't faced. And one more, and the last thing is avoid mixing multiple ideas. So when it comes to these 7 prompts, they're already there and there are different ideas. Do not try to mix and match all these ideas. You can probably take 2 ideas at once, but again, there has to be a proper link. These essays shouldn't go haywire or these ideas shouldn't go haywire. That we have to be careful about. So these are the don'ts and there are do's. First point is use clear and unambiguous language. Clear and unambiguous language is the key. Sometimes we write our stories in a beautiful way, but when it comes to the message of the story, it's not clear. The language that we have been using is really not intelligible. So when you use such kind of language, that goes against you. So be careful about this. Be clear that you are going to use clear and unambiguous language, right? Keep the idea originally yours. So that we have already discussed, that do not try to steal anyone else's idea. It's not try to copy any template. Do not try to copy any previously written idea. Now use your own writing style and creativity. So that we have discussed this way, that do not get your things written. Rather, whatever your style of writing is, use that particular style of writing. Let me give you an example. We had a student in 2016 whose writing style was very plain, and he was applying to MIT. You'd be surprised to know that when we received his essays, we sat together and we did not make any sort of discuss about the fluency. We just discuss about the connectivity of ideas. We just discuss few of the petty grammatical errors and the consistency of the paragraphs. That's it. We just made those changes together. We sent those essays and he was selected. And we have seen this with most of the universities. Very compelling essays were rejected because those essays were not written by the students. Whereas the essays written in simple language, but with a true story, got selected. So it's very important, use your writing style. For say, your score in SAT is somewhere around 1300 or 1350. And the same is there with TOEFL, 95 to 100. And you are writing top class essay. Probably that won't go well with your score, isn't it? And university would know. And then interviews. So probably they would reconcile that data and there would be disparities. And surely your essay and your application is going to be rejected. Now, make it a compelling story. Now, make it a compelling story doesn't mean that you should write a non-fictional story. Making a compelling story is something when you are talking about your story, it should be consistent. It should have a flow. It should have proper introduction, right? And then it should move forward consistently with the conclusion. So that is the meaning of compelling story. And compelling story comes from you. So whatever you have done in your life, whatever you have done to make your profile strong, that would make your story compelling. Your circumstances, your background, how you handled situations, that is going to make your story compelling. It's not only about language. What happens, like most of us just start focusing at language part only. So language is just one of the things. But behind that, what is the stuff that matters the most? So be careful about this. Avoid grammatical errors and misuse of words. Now, again, one major thing, especially when we talk about UK, they do not tolerate any sort of errors. So any one of you are applying to UK universities, writing SOPs, be careful you do not commit petty errors, typing errors, right? And then misuse of words. Some of us, just to make our story compelling, to make our document look better, start using, say, bombarding words. So you shouldn't be verbose. Whatever the language you are using should be, say, music to the ear if someone is listening to you. And even you can use simple words to make things attractive. Let me give you an example. For say, using idiom, say, nail biting competition or cutthroat competition era. Instead of using this, you can use a simple word in a better way. For say, you can say, we are living in instant coffee age, right? So instant coffee is a common term. Instant coffee is a common word, right? And when you use it this way, it becomes more artistic. So even you can use simple words in a better way. So focus at your language, impactful language, not at using a lot of words and difficult words, especially. If you are good at vocabulary, that's fine. If you understand the meaning of those words and you know how to use them effectively, that's fine. But if you are using difficult words to make your application sound better, then you are doing something very, very wrong. Seventh prompt. In that particular case, use or give a sensible title to your common app essay. Without a sensible title, like evaluators won't be able to understand what you would like to say. So it's very important to give a sensible title to your common app essay if you are using seventh prompt, right? Let's move forward. Now, next is LOR. When we talk about LOR, you do not have any control over it. Your teachers are going to provide them. But still, you have chance to interact with your teachers and give them some sort of inputs, right? So have good rapport with your teachers. Go to them, discuss some of the things with them. And when we talk about letter of recommendation, see, some of your teachers might be well aware about LOR, how to write letter of recommendation. Some of them might not be. In that particular case, help them to understand how to write letter of recommendation. And remember, do not touch their ego. Okay. So when we talk about letter of recommendation, it should be based on first-hand experience, not generic statement. Remember, when we talk about letter of recommendation, some of the teachers, probably on the recommendation of the students, they make a mistake. They start putting in all the achievements inside the letter of recommendation. But that's not what these universities are expecting in a letter of recommendation, because your achievements are going with the application. Now, what they are expecting? They are expecting your first-hand experience of a person with you, right? How a third person or how a teacher is looking at a student. They would like to see that particular account, right? So here they are expecting some specific examples. For say, if some teacher is writing that the student has good leadership ability or good leadership quality. Now see, probably every teacher would write like that. Or say a teacher is saying that a student has good communication skills. So every teacher would write in that way. But there has to be specific examples as to why a teacher thinks that a student has good leadership skills, or his leadership style is really good, or why a teacher thinks that a student communication is really good or communication style is really good. So there has to be specific examples, and you can discuss these examples with the teacher. Provide as many as relevant incidents, examples, evidences as possible. So you have to go to your teachers and discuss some of those things with the teacher so that they can relate and they can probably put those incidents or evidences in their LOR. One more thing you can do, like you can provide some rough inputs to your teacher and tell them to incorporate if they can, right? So now there are two kind of say LORs which are important. First one is principals or counselor LOR. Is very, very crucial when we talk about college application. And it should consist of evidence of your intelligence, your leadership, your team spirit, and other such traits. So when we talk about a counselor or a principal, he or she gives a complete overview of a student beyond academics, right? So when it comes to your academic part, of when it comes to your major that your subject teacher would be giving, but when we talk about principal or counselor, gives that bird eye view, tells the university like what kind of person you are, how you behave in particular circumstances or situations, right? What kind of leadership style you have. Do you have team spirit? Whether you help others or not, right? So he talks more about your personality aspect, right? And when we talk about subject teacher should highlight like your aptitude and command at subject, provide strong problem solving examples. That's very important. See, if a teacher doesn't know about your problem solving skills, about your aptitude, then that LOR is futile, useless. So be specific, give some examples to your teacher, tell them that what happened other day in the class, right? You can remind him certain instances, right? And your teacher must be able to say something about some of your out of the box approaches, right? So this is about letter of recommendation. Principal or counselor would tell about your personality. Subject teacher would talk about your say hold at the subject, your aptitude in that particular subject. Okay. Next, statement of purpose. Talking about the statement of purpose, it's required in UK, specifically some universities in Canada also accept and they call it letter of intent. Now, this is the easiest document in the application process, but very crucial. So how you start your statement of purpose? You start with the career objective, means something that you would like to achieve during your lifetime. So you start with that. Then the next thing is what kindled your interest in that particular area. You decided your objective, but how it came, how it happened that you started thinking in that particular direction, right? So probably these could be some books that you read, or probably a teacher who inspired you, or a particular event where you took part, or probably your parents, or a kind of gift, right? So you have to mention that thing here in your statement of purpose, like you have to mention that what kindled your interest. Then next part is, so you have your career objective, you know, like what kindled your interest. Now, universities would like to know what kind of efforts you have put in to harness your interest. You would like to move in a particular direction, but what kind of efforts you are putting in. If you're not putting in efforts, then all these things are futile. You know, having interest or career objective is useless. So universities would like to see whether you are really sincere about your target, about your goals, or just you are making guesses in the air, right? So you need to mention all your efforts. This is the part where you can put in all your pack in that all the information related to your achievements and your efforts, right? So if you have done some certification program, you have done some internship programs, you have done some research work, put in everything, right? You cracked some Olympiad, or you have some international achievements, just pack in that every detail here in this particular section, the kind of efforts you put in to harness your interest. The next one is reason to choose the course and the country. Here you need to do a bit of research. Since you are targeting a particular country, see, you cannot mention a specific university in your SOP. You have to mention the qualities of education system in that particular country. For say UK, here we are talking about. So you should have your own research. So for say you are targeting Oxford or Cambridge or Manchester or say Edinburgh, whatever the universities you are targeting, just be specific about some of the courses. Mention some of the courses there. Mention how you would be best fit for these courses, right? And why have you opted for this particular country? What kind of education system is really this country is having, and why it's really so intriguing for you? All right, so mention it here. And lastly, what you'll be gaining out of it and how would you be using your skills, right? So this should be the flow of your statement of purpose. career objective, what kindled your interest, your efforts to harness the interest, reason to choose the course and the country, and gain of skills and use. What kind of skills you would be gaining out of this course, and how are you going to use these skills in your future, right? So somehow your career objective is going to be connected with this last point. This is about statement of purpose. We are moving towards the end. So what we discussed, crafting compelling essays, providing effective LOR inputs, and showcasing the whole student. Crafting compelling essays, we had certain points that the idea should be original, shouldn't use AI, right? Brainstorm the ideas properly. Okay. Do not use or misuse vocabulary. Use simple language, compelling language, right? And then LOR inputs we have discussed. And the idea behind LOR is the showcasing of the whole student. So LOR plus your essays showcase you completely there at the university. Now we are at the last slide where you can start pouring in your questions.
Thank you so much, Sachin sir. That was quite valuable. We learned a lot. We being the team members also learned a lot. I'm sure the students would have gained a lot of insights how to meticulously design all those essays and the LORs and what significance do they hold. I was just typing a message in the chat box, dear all, we will now start off with the Q&A session, and I think you said it here. We'll take up the questions if dear attendees, we'll now take up the questions if any. Please feel free to ask the questions. We have Sachin sir here with us who will help us understand if there's anything that you want us to address. So we have a question from a student who says, the essay, what content should it have? Does it have to be one's achievements, or for what purpose I am filling the admission form?
Now, see, talking about essays, Common App essays have their own promise. And they're asking for specific inputs. They're not asking for achievements. They're not asking for, say, any information. Rather, they would like to know your stories. So when they say that if you have some background or identity or interest without which you feel that your application would be incomplete, they would like to know about your background. They would like to know something interesting about you. Right? So for say, I gave an example. If you belong to a business family, right, and you would like to go for, say, business management course, this could be a strong idea to pitch to the university, that how you belong to a particular, say, business family, and how you learn things while growing up in that family, how you implemented things in an ongoing business, right? So they are not asking for achievements. Achievements would go there in a separate section, but they are asking for a story, something that you would like to tell them beyond your academics and beyond your achievements, because your academics are already with them, right? You are sending your scores, so they know about that. You are sending your achievements, so they know about that. They would like to know you as a human being, how you behave in particular circumstances or situations. That's why only they are asking for letter of recommendation. That's why only they're asking for these essays. They would like to understand your thought process. So it's not about information. It's not about giving information about you. But yes, when we talk about SOP, statement of purpose, there you need to pack in all that information, because UK universities are expecting you to fill in every detail in that SOP, right? What kind of efforts you have done and what have you achieved.
Right. Thank you, sir. The next question is social work also crucial for the applications?
Yeah. In short, because see, most of the universities abroad, they would like to see you as a human being, whether you have potential to contribute to the society or not, whether you have that thought process of giving back or not. So for them, they would like to train human beings, not robots. So it's really important.
Okay, the next question says, any limit on number of words to be used?
Yes. See, so for all the universities, they have different word limits. If I talk about MIT, they start with 20 words and goes to 250 words. There are different prompts. If I talk about Common App Essay, it has 850 words word limit, right? So all the universities and all the documents, they have different word limits, and that's clearly mentioned there. So when you'll be filling up the application, you'll get to know that how many words of essay should be written for a specific university or for a specific prompt.
Right. The next question says, Dear sir, regarding LOR, are they required for certain category of people like politicians, or is it from school only?
The letter of recommendations are in generally at undergrad level given by school teachers, because school teachers know you the best. So these are from them. You can provide one or two extra LORs if you have something substantial, but not from politicians. To be very straightforward, those LORs has to be from someone who knows you. For say your research guide, project mentor, right? So you can, or your sports teacher, or if you are good at say music, your music teacher, or something that you have in hand, and that's really important to you, right? And it adds value. Then you can provide some additional LORs. Otherwise, these are the LORs from your school teachers. One from your principal, one from your subject teacher, and one from your humanity teacher, probably from language teacher, English language.
Right. I'm assuming this is the last question of the day because I can't see any more questions. It says, is it important to give AP exam for USA universities? They've gone a little off topic, but that was the
Okay,
question, I guess.
okay, fine. I can answer this. See, AP is not the mandatory requirement for any of these universities. So what happens, like when you appear for AP, you get some credits, right? And AP, they take place only in May, right? So you get some credits and you use these credits to complete your course. So that's an advantage. And indirectly, AP scores help uh, proving that you are academically brilliant, or say not brilliant, then at least you have done some say advanced level of courses, so they show your academic prowess.
Right. And just to add on to it, dear attendees, we will be hosting an exclusive webinar soon. I just received a message from the marketing team that we will be hosting and we will be helping you with insights on APs as well. So rest assured, we will be there to help you all. Okay. Are there some scholarship exams for studying? I think the students are going a little off track, but then
Okay, probably we can take at least 2 3 more questions. Scholarship exams, none of the universities have separate scholarship exams, but in US scholarship have different criteria. If you take admission to some of the universities, you are automatically eligible for scholarship. For say MIT, if you get admission to MIT, you are automatically eligible for say scholarship, and you get up to 90% scholarship there. The same is there with Cornell. So if you apply to Cornell, you get scholarship, and that's Tata scholarship. Some of the universities in the US are there. If you ask for scholarship, probably your application would be put for the last priority, right? So if you ask Princeton or Stanford or Harvard for scholarship, probably your application would be the last priority. So if you are interested and if you have that say paying capacity, then probably you shouldn't ask for scholarship, at least from these 2 to 3 universities. But rest of the universities don't discriminate, and there's
right.
no written test for scholarship.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. That answers all the questions. We've successfully answered all the questions. Considering the time crunch, I think you managed it really well with the details and then the question answers. Thank you so much once again for being the enlightenment of the hour, sir. Thank you, dear attendees, for being here with us. I hope it was a webinar that opened a lot of doors for most of you. And should you have any other questions, please feel free to get in touch with us.
Yes, yes. So probably we'll be available, and just if you have any sort of question, you can touch base. Probably we must have shared